Does the type of milk in your oatmeal affect your blood sugar response? In this video, I put on a continuous glucose monitor and test my blood sugar response to my morning bowl of rolled oats with 4 different types of milk. Hi, I'm Chung, an accredited nutritionist with a master's in nutritional sciences, here to share with you practical and science-backed nutrition to help you lower your cholesterol and improve your heart health. Before I share the data that I've collected, and for those unfamiliar, let's talk about what is a continuous glucose monitor or CGM. If you're familiar with CGMs, you could skip ahead to the next section where I share my results. A CGM is a small wearable device that attaches to your skin, typically on the back of your upper arm, and it contains a sensor that measures the glucose levels in the fluid under your skin every few minutes. This provides real-time data about how your blood sugar responds to things like food, stress, sleep, and exercise. It is therefore a much more convenient way to obtain blood glucose numbers compared to traditional finger prick testing. It is an extremely useful tool for individuals with diabetes to actively manage their blood sugar levels and could also provide useful information for people with prediabetes. For healthy individuals, blood sugar increases after a meal are completely normal, and it is not necessary at all to obsess about these blood sugar spikes. That said, this convenient technology does give us the ability to understand individual metabolic and blood sugar responses to different foods. In this test, I wanted to demonstrate how different milk choices with my morning rolled oats can produce measurable differences in my blood sugar response, even in a healthy person like myself. Using this data and comparing the nutrients that are in each type of milk, I will then give you my recommendation on what I think is the best milk for your oatmeal in terms of your heart health and metabolic health. Before I discuss the details of my experiment and share my results, if you're enjoying this video so far, help me hit the like, share and subscribe buttons and turn on the notifications. You could also check out this other video where I compared whether soy milk or cow's milk is better for lowering cholesterol. For my experiment, I prepared the exact same overnight oats recipe for 12 mornings and used one type of milk for 3 mornings before changing to the next type of milk for another 3 mornings. Each bowl of oatmeal would contain 1/4 cup of rolled oats, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, and half a cup of the milk that's being tested. I'll cover the bowl and pop it in the fridge to soak overnight. And in the morning, I'll add 100 grams of blueberries, 1 tablespoon of sunflower seeds, 14 grams of walnuts, and 1 Brazil nut of about 4 to 5 grams. The 4 milks I compared were in the order of testing: unsweetened soy milk, unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened oat milk, and full cream dairy milk. I consume each test meal after an overnight fast with my morning cup of coffee and track my blood sugar response over the following 4 hours. The bowl of oatmeal clearly contains carbs from the rolled oats and blueberries that will increase my blood sugar. So what we are comparing here is on top of that increase, how would each milk moderate or change my blood sugar response? But do remember, this is an N=1 experiment, and these are the responses that are personalized to my body, so individual responses may vary based on factors like your insulin sensitivity, gut health, and metabolic status. The meal with unsweetened almond milk produced the lowest peak blood glucose at 6.9 millimoles per liter, reached at about 60 minutes after eating. My blood sugar increased from 1.8 millimoles per liter from baseline, then came back down and stabilized near baseline by around 120 minutes. Unsweetened soy milk came in second, with a peak of 7.5 millimoles per liter at 60 minutes after the meal. The increase from baseline was 1.9 millimoles per liter, similar to what was seen for almond milk, and my blood sugar returned to near baseline by around 180 minutes. This was a more sustained elevation compared to almond milk, but still remained controlled. Full cream dairy milk produced a peak of 7.1 millimoles per liter, also at 60 minutes, with an increase from baseline of 2.2 millimoles per liter, slightly higher but close to the response of soy milk. Dairy milk also took around 180 minutes to return to baseline, again similar to soy milk. The highest blood sugar response came from unsweetened oat milk, which peaked at 8.4 millimoles per liter, also at 60 minutes. This represented a 3.1 millimole per liter increase from baseline, making it roughly 72% higher than almond milk's response. Similar to the other milks, oat milk also took around 180 minutes to return to baseline. However, besides producing the biggest rise in blood sugar, oat milk also caused a dip below baseline before stabilizing, indicating that my body pumped out insulin to bring down the blood sugar but might have overshot by a little bit. Even though the dip was a small one, if I had consumed the oat milk in larger quantities or maybe on its own, the dip might become larger, which is sometimes described as a sugar crash. But that's something to be explored in future experiments. Because my starting blood glucose every morning was slightly different, the comparison between the curves would be clearer if we matched all of the starting points. In this graph, we can now see that almond milk, soy milk, and dairy milk actually produce very similar results, with oat milk clearly causing a much larger glucose response. What explains these differences? Before I go into that, it would be amazing if you could help me by sharing this video with someone who might have pre-diabetic concerns and would benefit from understanding how different foods affect blood sugar. What explains the differences in my blood sugar response to the different milks in the same bowl of oatmeal? The answer lies in the macronutrient composition and glycemic properties of each milk. Let's compare the nutritional content per serving of 240 ml or 1 cup of each of the milks, which we can see here. Based on these numbers, we can clearly see that my blood sugar response pretty much follows the amount of carbs found in each milk. Almond milk has very minimal carbohydrates and therefore has the lowest impact on blood sugar, while oat milk contains many times more carbs compared to almond milk and caused the most pronounced blood sugar spike in my test. However, what should also be highlighted is that almond milk, soy milk, and dairy milk all contain higher amounts of fat, ranging from 4.3 to 8.8 grams compared to only 1.3 grams in oat milk. At the same time, both soy milk and dairy milk also contain high levels of protein. Fat and protein would both play a part in helping to slow down the absorption of glucose from the small intestines into our bloodstream, which would also help to explain the more controlled glucose responses of the 3 other milks. So, what's the best milk for your oatmeal? Before I share my thoughts on that, since you've made it this far, why not share in the comments which type of milk do you currently drink or use in your oatmeal? Which is the best milk in my opinion to use in your overnight oats? Let's review the CGM data and nutritional profiles for each of the milks. Oat milk caused the largest blood sugar spike, and most importantly, it contains only 2.6 grams of protein. Adequate intake of high-quality protein is key to muscle maintenance for healthy aging, and our morning glass of milk, whatever its origin, is a key source of protein for the day. As such, based on both the blood sugar response and the nutritional profile, I will place oat milk at number 4. Aside from oat milk, the other 3 milks had very similar blood sugar responses. Even though almond milk caused the smallest blood sugar response, it contains even less protein than oat milk at 1.5 grams. Based on this, I would rank almond milk at number 3. Both soy milk and dairy milk are great sources of protein, with soy milk containing 10.8 grams and dairy milk containing 8.5 grams. Recognizing that dairy protein is slightly higher quality than soy protein, I would therefore say that in terms of protein, they are both comparable. As a side note, I've actually made a full video on whether soy protein is the healthiest protein that you could watch here, and I'll also drop a link in the description. What really differentiates these 2 milks is their fat content. Out of the 8.8 grams of fat in dairy milk, 6.5 grams is saturated, with negligible amounts being polyunsaturated. In soy milk, out of the total 5 grams of fat, only 1 gram is saturated, while 3 grams are polyunsaturated. Saturated fat is well documented to increase LDL cholesterol, while polyunsaturated fats decrease LDL cholesterol. As such, from a heart health perspective, soy milk is going to outrank dairy milk. Not only that, soy milk also contains powerful antioxidants called isoflavones, which are one of the top 5 anti-inflammatory nutrients according to the Dietary Inflammatory Index, with many positive health outcomes. As such, I would recommend soy milk as the best option for managing blood sugar responses while providing optimal nutrition, with dairy milk a close second. The key takeaway is that the type of milk you choose matters. While all of these options can be part of a healthy diet, understanding their nutritional profiles, including how they affect your blood sugar, allows you to make informed choices based on your individual health goals, especially if you are pre-diabetic and have blood sugar concerns. At the same time, While CGMs are kind of fun for healthy individuals who like to gather a bunch of data, they are extremely valuable tools for diabetics and pre-diabetics. In my practice, CGMs have helped my clients figure out their individualized responses to different foods and have helped them gain confidence in choosing foods that are beneficial for their metabolic health even when they're not wearing a CGM. If you would also like to discuss how you could optimize your diet for better blood sugar control and metabolic health, click on the link in the description and sign up for a free strategy session. In the meantime, check out these other videos where I explain how you could use various foods to reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease. See you in the next one.